You are watching Drive the Lightning, my positively charged YouTube channel.
Today we're talking to Bob Nuchow. We finally got our hands on him. He's the guy that is always posting Aptera Pros in the comments of our YouTube channel. We finally got him here in person so we could ask him what's up. What would move somebody to write poetry so beautiful, such beautiful prose about a company or a car instead of like a beautiful woman, you know?
I mean, like for Drive the Lightning, Banksy does graffiti. We have the Banksy of Drive the Lightning prose, Bob.
See, that's it. That's why she's the brains of the operation. Bob Nuchow, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And you are my home for my Aptera Pros, and I love the graffiti all over YouTube channel.
Well, we appreciate it and we enjoy it. And we bought both your books. We'll talk about that. Well, I think we might have 3 of your books now.
I feel like we have 4.
We have a lot of your books.
Is it possible we have 4?
We probably have 4, yeah.
We have them all.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
Yes.
we wanted to have you on to talk about that, but also to talk about you and your electric vehicle journey from where you started to where you're going, which of course we know is going to be Aptera. We'll get to that. But let's start a little bit about you, Bob. What is it that makes you tick?
Well, I grew up in a family that loves people, loves justice for the world. And so that actually got me to looking at cars that were basically not destroying our planet. That got me my first electric car, the Ford Focus, and I spent 4 years researching that.
A lot of people watching this don't even know that Ford made a Ford Focus EV. It was never advertised. We've never seen one in the wild here in Michigan, home of Ford. They just really didn't support that project. I think they made it, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, just to be able to sell cars in California. Does that sound right to you?
Compliance.
It's partially right, so I was always interested in EVs, and I watched its development. And so I was always online looking to see which of the legacy car makers were going to be making the EV. And I saw that Ford, and I had a Ford LTD when I came out of the Army, Ford Explorer. So I stayed with Ford and see what they were coming up with. But basically, it wasn't a EV from the ground up. All they did was pull out the engine, pull out the gas tank, and they harnessed the battery with a leather harness and stuff. And I had problems out later on because I had a big $3,000 repair for that.
As you're researching, what made you think that the Ford Focus EV would be the one? Because there's a lot of these used out there available, and a lot of people are shopping for these.
And some people don't know how to even begin researching what EV might be right for them. So if you share a little of your thought process, that might be helpful.
Basically, I was loyal to Ford.
Okay, got it.
That helps.
That's what it was. And I just what Ford would come out with.
So then when you went to pick it up at the dealership, did the dealers have any idea what they were talking about?
Absolutely none.
Aha. We had that with our Nissan
they were certified to do service electric cars, but they had no one there who knew how to service them. And that's another repair job, which I had to do a GoFundMe account.
Oh, wow.
So I had 2 major repairs on the Ford Focus, which was not from the ground up. It was just basically a makeshift to meet the requirements of the zero emission.
So as far as drivability, comfort, what did you think of the experience minus the repairs?
I loved it. I loved my Ford Focus. I just had my problem was with the corporation and with the service department and with the gouging. But and I wish Ford would continue to, but I was very happy. And I had it for 10 years. The warranty for the battery was a 10-year battery. 2 weeks after the warranty was over, the battery died. And the Ford dealership, it would have cost me $13,000 to replace it. And that's a whole nother thing is that, when my car stopped working, and they didn't know how to fix it. It was in the shop for 6 months as the service department was fighting with Detroit, and the dealership just wanted to give me a new car from Detroit, and Detroit said, no, you're going to fix it, and they didn't know how to fix it and stuff.
Would you give us kind of a final synopsis? Somebody's watching this video, they're thinking about buying a used Ford Focus. What's your advice? Stay away or
stay away.
Just stay away.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're not true EVs. They're makeshift where they just pulled out the ICE engine and stuff and put in the battery and stuff. It's not from the ground up.
So, Bob, you mentioned that the next EV you're going to buy is going to be the Aptera, the solar powered EV. How did you learn about Aptera?
Well, I went to a lot of YouTube channels, and I found this one YouTube channel called Drive the Lightning, which had very positive, remarks about the Aptera. And I went online to the Aptera, website, fell in love with it, and I ordered it back in
Great.
April of 2022.
So what was it that sparked your interest? Because when we were starting to talk about it, we only knew what we were watching, like from Aptera Owners Club or from Aptera's website. We're kind of regurgitating that as we're learning it ourselves. But what was it about the Aptera especially that made you say, that's my next EV?
Well, I had that Ford Focus for 10 years, and it was a makeshift EV. I like the fact that Aptera was designed from the ground up and engineered to be efficient. I fell in love with the way it looked. I'm
Yeah.
saying, my God, that's the future. And then in terms of solar, in terms of charging station, the fact that I would be able to just charge it without plugging in anywhere, and I basically just drive local here, like no more than 30 miles a day, I would never have to plug it in. So,
Yeah.
in the beginning, those are the two main things: the looks, the three main things from the ground up, engineered, and also solar power.
Okay. And then as it progressed, because Sarah and I rode in the Alpha Aptera, and it was fine. It was a nice, fast, stiff suspension, but they say it's progressed so much to where we are now. Which are the improvements have you seen that's really made you appreciate the car more from when you first learned about it to what we think it'll be now?
Well, I like the fact that they reduced the parts. I like the carbon fiber, the forge, the strength, and the process in terms of the manufacturing. I like the evolution of the technology, the solar cells and stuff.
Yeah.
And the going from plastic to glass, and it's just amazing. So everything that is done, the progression has just made me fall in love with Aptera more and more and more. And I can't wait to get it.
Great.
Nice. You also mentioned a couple of pretty big nightmares with repairing your Ford Focus because the dealerships weren't prepared to do that. How do you think that experience will be different if your Aptera needs a repair?
It's going to be night and day. I had to do, like GoFundMe campaigns, waiting for my Ford, where waiting for parts be sent from to the service department. Then of course I had to wait for the service department and time and stuff, get scheduled. Aptera's right to repair. It's going to be, like heaven, because if something goes wrong, you just order it, they send it to you. You can put it in yourself, or you have a mechanical friend to put it in. You're not going to worry about the costs and stuff. It's less parts. It's easier to repair. And quite frankly, I don't think we're going to need that many repairs. I think the way it's built like a rock, and it's going to last forever.
Yeah. That's one of the hallmarks of ground up EVs. Like even our Nissan Leaf needs almost no repairs. Mom's
Exactly.
BMW i3, almost no repairs. So that's already kind of baked into the EV ecosystem. And then Aptera takes it a whole step further.
I know the Leap was one of the EVs I was actually looking at before I got my Ford Focus.
Okay.
I was really interested in getting a Leap, but I stuck with American Ford, and it's okay. It's all right.
Okay, there you go.
And that's what you did.
And that's all we got to say about that. So, Bob, what else is it about this company that inspires you to actually write prose about it?
Well, the leadership is amazing. These are people who are engineers who know what they're doing, who really care about the environment, who care about people, who want to make it accessible make it a people's car, like the Volkswagen Bug, Beetle. That was a people's car, and they care about the future. About our planet. That this is something that's going to help turn the direction towards disaster around to deal with climate change also making transportation affordable for everyone, not just here in America, but in third world countries like in Africa where they don't have power grids. You just put the Aptera out there in the sun, you got power. So,
Yeah.
I love the two founders, their perseverance, their resilience to go from, when Aptera first got around where they got kicked out, they come back and revive it even stronger. And they're doing a great job. And also all the people around it, great team, and all the supporters who are basically, talking about Aptera. So, I love the company, and I'm just glad to be part of the family.
Yeah, it's good to talk about just a little bit too, what you just said. The company, those are pretty cool people, but the community around Aptera, we have met
Absolutely.
so many fascinating people, Sarah, right?
Yes, yes, from all walks of life and
Yeah.
backgrounds, and people just it's a real uniting force. And in your case, genuinely inspiring because you write prose and you put the pictures with them as the meme, and the way it's written has such a beautiful flow, and it's just really neat to see the inspiration that it sparks in you, and we get to
Yeah.
enjoy and benefit from that.
And
Well,
Sarah and I
thank
would have
you.
never met so many engineers. We know more
Yeah.
engineers than we have use for. We know tons of engineers.
Yeah.
We know medical professionals because of Aptera. We know high-end technology people because of Aptera. Now we know Bob, a lifelong activist and author and SAG member. You've done it all in the restaurant business. You've done it all in Hollywood. You're just an amazing character. We would have probably not bumped into each other, Bob. We're thousands of miles apart. But the
I
Aptera
know, yeah.
community is why we've been able to meet.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the YouTube channel, your YouTube channel, but you're right, the community. I mean, Jeff is a financer up in Colorado, and I teased him to come down and visit my, soccer team. He's got the Colorado Springbacks up there, and I got my
Wow.
United down here. You got this guy Will out in Georgia, with Free Power. Steve with the Aptera Owners Club.
Hmm.
I mean, we have an amazing community of, video, like communicators, and it's just great. And you bring so much joy to that whole media world, so I really enjoy
Oh.
watching you guys.
We're
And
not
Pat,
everybody's cup of tea, Bob. Some people just want technical data, and we don't, that's
That's
not
above
this.
our
Yeah.
pay grade.
That's a whole different network, I
We just
think.
try
well,
to
Yeah.
have some fun.
you do it in a way that it communicates to people that people can relate to it, and it's
Oh,
not just,
thank you.
tech jargon, and it's good. I love it.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
And so many cat lovers, by the way, in the Aptera
yes, there is
community.
a whole cat Aptera connection.
So many
You know,
cat lovers.
Nellie is in my bedroom sleeping. I figure she would have been here jealous and stuff, and up here on the computer. But she's the one who gets me to buy all those cups of coffee for you.
Hey, well, we appreciate it.
We do love
Yeah.
Nellie.
Yeah, we do.
And I can promise you none of our cats are drinking those cups of coffee.
Bob, what's the best way for people to buy your book? We bought it on Amazon. Is that still where it's
Amazon and
available?
Barnes and Noble. Some people don't like to go to Amazon, so you can go to Barnes and Noble. They're available online for both of them. And all you have to do is go to their search thing, put in Bob Nuchow, and you'll get up all my books.
Okay,
Nice,
good. Sounds great. So, Bob, before we end, would you be willing to bore us with one of your stories from Hollywood? I know you've been around and you met a lot of folks. Is there anything that you could share that wouldn't
Sure.
offend anybody?
Oh God, so many. I did about well, my cousin Milo, who just did two films over the summer. He did Journey to Bethlehem and Thanksgiving, which I'll never see. It's a slasher from L.A. Raw.
Oh,
But his
whew.
mom, Cameron, played a lawyer on The Practice in Manhattan Beach. And I used to babysit. I used to put Milo to bed, make sure he took his bath, brush his teeth and everything, read him his bedtime stories, trying to get him to get an Aptera. He has a Tesla. He makes more in a day than I made in the last 10 years.
Right.
But I remember I had Rita Moreno up in San Francisco. She's from the Bronx, and I would rent cars. I would go do my events at different cities. I picked her up, and I was in a town car, and she was sitting up front with me, and she was watching the screen as we were going through each street. And she was just amazed and watching. Oh, look, we just passed that street. We just passed that street. It's just fun stuff.
He's
So I had
amazing.
lots of stories. I mean, ask me about anything, and I'll tell you. I had Rod Steiger telling about a story working with Cindy Pone in Heat of the Night down in
Oh,
Tennessee, talking about when this drunk guy came to his door looking for his wife, and he was worried about going to Cindy Poitier's room, and because it's Jim Crow South and everything.
Oh, right.
There's all kinds of stories, so
Wow.
yeah.
What about you were a business manager or some kind of manager for James Hong, is that right?
I was his PR manager,
PR
James Hong.
manager.
Yeah, James Hong. And God, he's still working. I mean, he would call me up at 2 o'clock in the morning from Thailand. Bob, the Data Earth still is coming out. Can I do sign some pictures, in the lobby of your theaters? And my job, his wife Susan would tell me still no.
Try to slow him down.
Yeah. Basically, his daughter April went to my workshop and asked if I can have her father do one of my conversation events, this series I did. I said, of course, because I wanted to be diversified. He did over like 500 films. He worked with Clark Gable, John Wayne. His first thing was on the Groucho Marx show, where he impersonated people. And after a while, he called me up one time and he said, Bob, I have a red carpet. Can you be my PR manager? I said, I don't know about anything about publicity. Just throw on a suit and come to the red carpet. That's all. That's how I became his PR manager. That's it.
I love it.
Nice.
He's a great actor. I love that guy.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, he's amazing. And he's 93 years young.
And I saw a picture of you with Lou Diamond Phillips. What's your connection with Lou?
Lou, he was one of my first conversation events. I got him to do my first one in Los Angeles. We were in the green room before we started, and I made these one-sheet flyers, and his name is all vertical letters. And he told him, oh, this is great, but you misspelled my last name. It was missing one of the I's in Phillips.
Oh.
Okay. But I used him as a moderator. I would try and get actors to ask questions of actors. And so, I did about 40 events with him all over the country. I had him when he was doing the King I Play in North Carolina, I had him do an event there. He was doing a film in Texas. I had him interview Robert Duvall, and we went to Las Vegas, Tony Danza. So I remember we were doing lunch one time outside the Screen Actors Guild headquarters. And I said, Bob, you're just pimping me. I was trying to get him to run for president of the Screen Actors Guild. so yeah, he was amazing. He's an amazing guy, and very, very accessible. On the sets, we were on the set for a film that he did with Ernest Borgnine, who I met with Ernest Borgnine, and he would just let the cast members and crew come into his trailer and just give advice and stuff. Just so down to really sweet guy, amazing guy.
And you also have a connection with somebody from one of them 70s sitcoms. Was it the one
Ernest from What's Happening?
From What's Happening. What's your connection to the show What's Happening?
Ernest Thomas, I was a publicist for Chapel Entertainment out of Florida. They had a kids show called The Chefsters. It was a cooking show. And God, I forgot how I became friends with him. Oh, I can be friends with him online, or he came to one of my events, one of my screenings, and then we just stayed in touch. And then when I had my cancer surgery, they actually took my car away so I wouldn't drive, so I can heal. And he came, picked me up, and took me out to lunch out, and so we just stayed. Just a very salty earth, just a man of God, just a very good person. And so I had him come out to my Schefter screening in California. I drove out from Albuquerque because I was already relocated here. And I had LA Unified bus in about 400 kids, and he was my celebrity screen. I was trying to shop it to a distributor. But I sent the book to him. He loved it. He asked if I could send another book for his daughter. And he wrote this amazing, review saying that I never heard of Aptera, but I fell in love with the car and now I want to get it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it's amazing. Yeah.
You've had some amazing experiences, Bob.
Oh,
you really have.
Yeah, it's been a lifetime, being in the Army, being going down south, organizing with, with Jesse Jackson. My father worked with Dr. King. it's been a great life. I'm very blessed to have the life I had, you know.
Bob, we can't thank you enough for taking time to visit us here on the Positively Charged EV channel. We're so grateful for you and for all that you do to support the channel and for the pros that you send in to us, and all of your support for Aptera. And we can't forget Nellie. Please give
Absolutely.
Nellie chin scratches from Chad and I.
I will definitely. And you do the same thing with Rogan.
We will.
We will.